Welcome back to episode 2 of Steven Segal September for some strange reason.
Yeah. Steven Segal is not holding us hostage. Yes, he's not. I promise. We are doing this of our own free will. And hell, he threatened to cock punch us.
Yeah, why pay for a vasectomy when you can just get Steven Segal to cock punch?
No more kids for you. He Aikido'd my past death.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh god.
Okay. Stick around because we're gonna be reviewing Under Siege.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. And we are back with episode 2, Under Siege. Now, don't you guys think that this movie's just fucking Die Hard on a boat?
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what this is.
And also, too,
Die Hard on a train.
Yeah, that's the second one. We're not talking about Under Siege 2 today. This is just the
just the first one. Ignore this half of the DVD.
Yeah, but we might come back to it at a later time.
But the funny thing about this movie is, and you guys will probably maybe agree with this, of the 3 movies that we're reviewing, don't you think this is like the least Seagal movie of the 3?
This is the most mainstream. This is the big time for him. This was when he kind of like this is the peak. Yeah, this is the peak. This is the zenith.
Because get ready for the next movie.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so this came out in 1992. Yeah, this is when he had a reputation as a guy that was making, mostly small budget movies, but they did well, and so they put him in a bigger budget movie, and they got Andrew Davis, who also directed his first film, Above the Law, and he's a great director. He's done, after this, he went on to do The Fugitive, which is one of the great action films in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then he made Holes in the 2000s as well.
Now, stop. Just think if Steven Seagal was in Holes.
Who would he be, though?
Probably the person telling these kids to dig the holes.
Yeah, Mr. Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good Steven.
That's a pretty nice hole, but you can dig 5 more. In hell.
Yeah, I was going to say Kissing Kate Barlow, but...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, let's talk a little bit about the plot of the... Oh, no. First, I guess, before we get to the plot, let's do first impressions. Yeah. Jerry, you can go first.
So, yeah, I watched this one probably a little later. I was in college, probably maybe a little after that, the first time I saw it. But, yeah, it was interesting. And, yeah, like, you're definitely struck immediately by the fact that, yeah, it's a much higher budget than a lot of his films. Like you're watching, you're like, holy shit, this is a real film.
Yeah,
and,
completely.
Yeah, Andrew Davis's direction helps like a lot.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit more. And then seeing the USS Missouri was cool because this film takes place on the USS Missouri.
Didn't the beginning of this movie have like a big like intro about the Missouri? I thought it did.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's like a big like news thing because it was at the time. It had. For Desert Storm, they pulled it out of the mothball fleet because it's the USS Missouri is a real ship. Mighty Mo, that's the nickname. Is it still in Hawaii? Yeah, it's still moored in Pearl Harbor. It's a ship's distance away from the USS Arizona Memorial. So because that was where the war started, and Missouri is actually where the Japanese signed the surrender and ended World War II. So it's a ship with a lot of history, and yeah, it's big battleship.
They filmed this movie on the Missouri, didn't they?
They filmed parts of it on there.
Yeah,
a lot of it is the USS Alabama standing in for it, but there is still scenes where they filmed on it, and there's a lot of like archival footage. It's like the bit where they're sailing to San Francisco. That was real, and that was a real retirement. It's real like a kind of retirement voyage.
It is pretty interesting how like compared to Marked for Death, how more. I guess Hollywood, this one kind of feels than Marked for Death.
Yeah, definitely.
Sense? Yeah.
Bigger budget.
What did you think about Under Siege?
It was alright, it was basically just Die Hard on a boat.
Yeah, that's pretty much essentially what it is when we get a little deeper into the plot.
Yeah, well, my first time seeing this movie was with you.
Oh.
Earlier in the year. I think I had seen like parts of it like on TV, but never in entirety.
Yeah.
Because I forgot that Tommy Lee Jones is in this movie.
Oh, he's great.
Oh, he's great. Arguably, he's the best part of this movie.
Yeah, he is. He's the bad guy.
Him and Gary Busey.
Yeah, Gary Busey's great.
Gary Busey is great in this movie.
Yeah.
I think that this movie, compared to the other two, because don't worry, we'll get to the third one.
Yeah.
I do feel that this is probably, I don't know, Marked for Death is still like, it's so bad that it's good.
Yeah, I really love that movie, but like if you want to show somebody something that's not completely embarrassing, this is the one.
Well, it's like there would never be someone as, well, I mean, you have Steven Seagal DVDs. There would never be someone that would put Steven Seagal movies like in a big collection. So I mean, like, if that's the
Is this what you're talking
No,
about?
stop, no.
15 here. So don't worry, this Steven Seagal September, it's going on
all
all year.
15 Steven Seagal movies?
Yeah, I've never heard of any of these.
Oh God.
CIA 2 Target Alexa. I don't know what that is.
What's
President's Man?
The President's Man. Oh God, he's hanging out with the president now?
Yeah, and Chuck Norris, who may or may not be the president. I don't know. I don't know much about a lot of the later Seagal era.
Is it a modern day president, or is he like with Abraham Lincoln? Emancipate this.
I don't know. I would hope so.
Okay.
But
all right. Well,
I've never watched any of these.
Amazing. There's other 3 movies.
Oh God, no.
5 movies.
5 movies.
Yeah, I don't know where this comes from. I don't.
Oh my God. So Under Siege. Under Siege has a pretty interesting plot. So like, it starts off with we're not even gonna get to Seagal for a little bit because honestly, he doesn't really even show up for like a while.
Weirdly, like that's one of the things that I always forget when I watch this film is he's not in like a lot of this film. He's in maybe less than half.
He is
on screen.
I would say this is a Tommy Lee Jones movie.
Yeah, like he's in so much of this, and then he would go on too with Andrew Davis in The Fugitive as well, and he would win an Oscar for his role in that film.
Yeah.
And you can tell because he's putting
Tommy
in the work
Lee Jones
here.
did, right?
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, it was like, wait a minute. Seagal did not win an Oscar.
No, not for this film. This film actually was nominated for like Best Sound or something, but yeah, Fugitive was like a smash hit. It got nominated for like 7 Oscars.
Dude, when we were listening to this movie, or watching this movie, we had to go, on my surround sound system, dude, we had to go up and down constantly for sound balancing. Bullshit, this was nominated for Best Sound.
I mean, that could just be this copy. This is very low quality.
Oh, man. But
these are very low quality DVDs. This is not the good stuff.
So the movie starts off with basically the decommissioning of the ship.
Yeah, the Missouri.
Yeah,
because they pulled it out of mothballs because they didn't have enough ships for the fleet when they were building up in the 80s.
Yeah.
So they put like missiles and stuff on it, which is a big part of the plot of this film, is because there's Tomahawk missile batteries on it.
Yeah.
And then they used it for Desert Storm and stuff like that. Mm. And then it's finally time because the ship's been kicking since like 1944 or something. So
yeah, so it's about time it gets decommissioned.
Yeah.
Then fast forward. They're having like this big send off for the ship. So
the captain.
They get
the captain because captain was retiring too.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And then they had like this band show up, which Tommy Lee Jones shows up. He looks like Keith Richards.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And like,
I can't forget the chick of this movie, the Playboy.
Oh, I'll get to her. Don't worry.
Well, I actually have a lot to say about her.
So the movie kind of keeps going, and then eventually, like out of nowhere, the ship gets hijacked by these guys. Turns out they were what? They were CIA.
He was an ex-CIA guy, which is hilarious because that's usually Seagal's role. But yeah, because Tommy Lee Jones is the ex-CIA guy. The rest of the guys are just terrorists.
Yeah, and then Steven Seagal, you would think, okay, ex-FBI agent, no. Ex-CIA, no. Special Forces, no. He's a cook.
Well, he is ex-Special Forces.
Well, that's true, but he's the cook.
Yeah, Steven Seagal is Casey Ryback.
I think in the trailer they actually say like no one expected the cook.
Yeah,
I think that's the trailer.
That is the trailer. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's the cook, Casey Ryback.
Dude, doesn't he take a kitchen knife and like impale someone with it?
That's one of the first ones he does.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love the one. Doesn't he also lock the guy in the freezer?
Yeah,
it's something with the freezer.
Well, yeah, because he gets locked in the freezer. So basically, basically what happens is we see Steven Seagal, and he's the cook, and he's messing around, and then Gary Busey is like the XO of the ship, and he's all over the place because he's Gary Busey.
Oh yeah.
He's being nuts, and then he comes in and starts fucking with Seagal, and Seagal's like, no, I'm Steven Seagal. And then he locks Steven Seagal in the freezer because it turns out that, spoiler alert, plot twist, he's in on the plan and he's the guy that got the terrorists.
Spoiler alert for a 1992 movie.
Yeah, for a 1992 Steven Segal.
22 years. No, 32 years, right? Is it 32 years?
Yeah, 32.
Oh my god. Oh
that
my
took me a second.
God.
Yeah. I mean, if you're watching this, you know what it's about, but just in case.
Yeah, for sure.
If you want the deep lore of this film to be ruined.
Lore. He says the lore of Under Siege.
Yeah, the lore, the world building.
But, should we talk about the Playboy Bunny for a little bit?
Yeah, alright. Yeah, we got, where I have some
Miss
stuff.
July 89.
Yeah, which she was in real life, apparently. Not that I know. I don't have any Playboys.
Now, Jordan Tate was her name in the movie?
Yeah, that's her name in the movie.
Her actual name is Erika Eleniak.
I think so.
Eleniak?
I have no idea.
Erika Eleniak, I think so.
Yeah.
She was an actual Playboy model.
Yeah, she was. She's very pretty, and she's actually quite good. Like, that's something I want to talk about, is the direction in this film is phenomenal, like I say.
It is.
He's great. Like, he even gets a good performance out of Seagal. Like, there's scenes in here where he's, like, smiling and, like, cracking jokes and stuff, especially at the beginning of the movie when he's, like he dances to CNC Music Factory.
Yeah.
Like, that would be unthinkable in a film like, Marked for Death.
Yeah.
So, like he gives him some level of personality, almost. As much as as much as he could to Steven Seagal, like, and he also does that for a lot of the rest of the film. It really, like, bowies this film. And that's one of the reasons why I think this is, like, actually a really good film.
It is a good film.
Yeah, is because of his direction. Like, it really, really helps. And yeah, it also helps because I don't know much about Miss Tate. I don't know exactly her acting ability, but she's pretty good in this.
So apparently, a little bit of trivia about her. So Erika Eleniak, who played her Miss July Jordan Tate, was actually Playboy's Playboy of the Month in 1989 in real life.
Okay.
So she was the actual one, and then she was even wearing, during her Playmate of the Month, she was wearing a naval-themed outfit on the centerfold. Oh. So it kind of just came full circle for her.
See, you talked to the Playboy guy here.
Yeah, not that I would know or anything. It's for research.
Yeah.
Research, he says.
For the art.
It's for the plot. It's for the plot.
Yeah, for the lore.
Yeah.
I read it for the articles.
Only the lore. I swear, I'm a scientist. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
but she's quite good. She has an actual character arc in this film.
She does.
It's crazy. Like, she doesn't get killed. She doesn't get violated. Like, that's not something that really happens in these films, so it was weird.
Yeah, it's not Marked for Death.
Yeah, it's not Marked for Death, yeah. Or On Deadly Ground.
Oh, God. We'll get to that one.
Yeah, so, like, it's actually pretty good at that. So she even saves Seagal's ass at one point in
this
film. She kills Cole Meany.
She's like, okay, so what's funny about her is, like, in the very beginning, she's like, freaking out, total damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Then he gives her a gun, and she's like, I've never used one of these before. Yeah. And then it's like, all of a sudden, she's literally like Rambo, like mowing people down.
Yeah.
Like,
This film's only 100 minutes. That's the best we can do. And for a film like this.
Yeah, the story arc where she learned how to use the gun was cut.
Yeah.
See, he
tells her, he's like, you load it, you shoot it, and then she just does
it. She doesn't know, like, the concept of, like, how it works.
He's like, I'm gonna give you this, it's automatic, you gotta put semi-automatic. Yeah.
So what we don't know is that actually, between when we don't see her, she's actually watching Die Hard.
Right?
She might be.
She watched Die Hard, she's like, oh, okay.
She's the closest one, because that is, like, where the Die Hard thing kind of starts to fall apart, is that, Steven Seagal is Steven Seagal. He's not like, Bruce Willis. He's kind of like, he's not like a guy that's kind of out of his depth. Because as it turns out, he's not actually just the cook. He's also an ex-Navy SEAL. Yeah.
Wasn't he like the best of the best too?
He always.
You know what? It was to say. Who am I kidding? It's Steven Seagal. He's always the best of everything,
he's always,
except for acting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always some ex-spec ops, super badass in like all of these films.
I was a cook. Steven, you're still a cook.
Yeah, and. Yeah, and then he's like, oh, now I'm, and then the scene where they find that out is hilarious, because, like...
The cook?
Yeah, well, that's good, too, but, like, the scene where they find out that he's a SEAL is really funny, because everyone, like, on the bridge, because, like, all the bad guys are there, and they're all like, oh, no, he's a SEAL, and they all proceed to, like, shit themselves, like, they absolutely, like, they go crazy in fear over this, and it's like, you guys still outnumber him, like, 30-1 at this point.
Do you remember the Mortal Kombat fatality in this movie? With the beam that goes down the dude like vertically? Like,
yeah, that was like,
my god!
That was just some random guy. Like
no, dude. I think remember what we were saying during the movie? We were like, dude, that guy pissed off the director.
Yeah, it's very
for sure.
Yeah, that'd be something like that, or he pissed off Seagal.
Oh yeah. You know what? Aikido isn't good enough for this guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say he also puts a guy in a lathe. That one's pretty bad too.
Yeah. You know, it's funny too because there are scenes of this movie that are like shot for shot from like other action movies.
Yeah.
Like the scene where the deck of the ship blows up and he like is hanging off the side.
Oh.
Wasn't that from like Die Hard? Didn't that happen?
That's from Die Hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say that happened in Die Hard.
Yeah.
But you know, we gotta talk about Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones is like, oh, he's so good in this movie. He looks like Keith Richards. Like, I don't want to see Keith Richards off his rocker because that's kind of how Keith Richards just is. But oh my God, Tommy Lee Jones's death in this movie, dude. Steven Seagal and the directors of these movies just have a thing for like climax in a movie. Like, dude, doesn't he gouge out his eyes and then throw him like in the radar?
Yeah, he stabs him in the head first, and then throws him in the radar.
Yeah, like, dude, like, yeah, he pokes his eye, stabs him in the head, throws him in the radar.
Throws his dummy in the radar.
Like, okay, and I don't know if you guys kind of saw this either compared to like the other two movies.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of Aikido.
Yeah, that was something I did actually note in my notes. Like he doesn't really use a lot. Like it's only very little here and there. He's mostly shooting guys. He loves his improvised explosives in this film.
He does.
Let me see. Yeah, like when he comes out of the kitchen, he puts some shit in the microwave and blows up the microwave. And
it shoots out everywhere. Yeah.
He at one point he just takes a frag grenade, he pulls the pin and he puts it in the handle, and they're like, stay away from the door, and then they open the door and they all blow up.
Yeah.
And then the other one is the weirdest one is probably because he takes one of the 5-inch shells off the ship, and then he like somehow. I don't know exactly how. I'm sure he doesn't know either. Somehow makes it into
plot hole.
Yeah. He's like this montage of him turning it into a shaped charge to put on the submarine.
That's when the submarine goes off camera and then blows up like way off in the distance.
No, because it doesn't really work because like he made it. It goes off a little bit, but it doesn't blow up the sub. And then that's when like the big action sequence is when he gets his little crew of misfits together and they work the 16-inch guns on the battleship, like those giant ones that you see like hanging out of the turret. Like they fire those off. I couldn't find any like I tried to look up to see if they actually did that for this film. I don't know if they did or not. It looks very real. They definitely have footage of them firing in Desert Storm, but like I don't know if they did it for this scene. But it looks it looks really good. And then and in a scene that's very befitting his character, like Tommy Lee Jones is on the deck when the guns go off, and he's blown backwards and blows out his eardrums, just from the sheer power of it. It's a great scene.
The movie ends obviously with Seagal being the winner, and everybody's safe.
Yeah.
But did you know that this movie has 3 different titles?
Yeah, I want to hear these.
So in Finland, this movie is called Hijack at Sea.
That's closer to like an actual Seagal title.
I agree. In France or French, it's called Trap on the High Sea. Not Trapped, Trap on the High Sea.
Steven Seagal the Trap.
That's what I'm saying. And then in Quebec, in Canada, it's known as Battleship in Peril.
Battleship in Peril, that also sounds like a Steven
Seagal like Under Siege doesn't sound like a Steven Seagal movie. That sounds maybe like a Tommy Lee Jones movie. But I thought you might think this is pretty funny. So it says uncredited role.
Oh.
Steven Seagal did some uncredited rewrites. You wouldn't say.
I have a theory about this actually, because what I'm thinking, because one of the things about, like I said, one of those little things about this film that always is like, why is that to me is because not only is he like the Spec Ops super badass Steven Seagal guy, like that's a given for this kind of
film. For sure.
But he's also like the best cook. Like I don't know why that is. Like he's like supposed to be a super good chef. Like he's making the bouillabaisse at the beginning. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is really good."
Yeah.
And like it's just so weird to me because it would have been so much funnier if he was a bad cook. It would have made like the film would have made so much more sense if it was like that. And that feels like the kind of petty change that he would do just to be like, I'm Steven Seagal.
Yeah, I made a bouillon base, Steven. Those are fried eggs.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Busey burns all the cream pies. It's like the first terrible thing he does in this film. He does that because he's the bad. He's like a real.
I never thought I'd hear Gary Busey and cream pie in the same sentence, like ever. I don't even want to come anywhere near that.
I don't know why Steven Seagal has 8 cream pies in the.
But a little bit of trivia about this movie. So Tommy Lee Jones is usually like stern. in a lot of his movies.
Yeah.
But in this one, he is like unhinged. He's a masquerading terrorist as a rock star. This was completely out of like character for him, like literally.
Yeah.
He said this is one of his hardest movies he's ever done, like before his later stuff.
Yeah.
Because he had never done a role like that before.
I can see that actually. Yeah. Because he does it with aplomb. But yeah, because he also talks a lot. He loves Looney Tunes. He talks a lot about Looney Tunes, and he acts like a Looney Tune in this film. Like,
yeah, because I feel like, because this came out in 92, Batman Forever came out in 97, right? Right? 95? It was after this, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So I really think for Two-Face, he took a lot from this role.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least that makes sense to me.
Yeah, because when he won the Oscar for The Fugitive, he definitely is a lot more serious and straightforward in that film. He's great. Yeah, he's the guy that's hunting down Harrison Ford.
So it said that what could have been is that Jenny McCarthy actually had the role of Jordan Tate before they got the Playgirl, because Jenny McCarthy denied doing nudity scenes.
Oh yeah.
She was like, I'm not going to do that.
All three of these films have nudity in them, by the way.
So the original title of this movie, before it was Under Siege, like the American title, it was called Dreadnought. But Dread is in all caps.
Okay, that's.
It was Dreadnought.
Okay, that sounds very nice.
Maybe that was the Steven Seagal rewrite where he was like, damn it, it's not called Dreadnought.
Yeah.
But
maybe he's like Dreadnought.
So what's hilarious is it says the original script called Dreadnought was at one point offered to Fox as a possible Die Hard 3.
That makes sense. This is more Die Hard than Die Hard 3 is.
Yeah.
Die Hard 3 was also just some random script that they're like, let's make it Die Hard 3.
That's actually interesting. So yeah, the working title of the movie was actually called Dreadnought, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's like an old-timey name for battleship.
Dreadnought.
Which is what this is on.
Dreadnought. Hijacked at sea. Under siege.
Dude, Erica Eleniak, the girl that played Jordan Tate, was not even really credited in this movie very much.
Oh.
No, they weren't going to include her in the actual credit scenes.
Why?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
She's all over this film.
She is all over.
She's in as much of this film as Seagal is.
She is. Arguably, actually, she's in more of the scenes than he is.
Yeah, she's in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, she's good. And the film, it moves very well. It's it doesn't get bogged down. Like I said, Andrew Davis, he knows how to make it arresting. He knows how to use Seagal to the best of his abilities.
Oh god, that sentence is scary.
Yeah. Like he knows exactly what to do with him, and he knows exactly what to do with everyone else.
He knows where Seagal belongs.
Yeah, I mean he knows how to use him, and he uses them very well. Like I said, this is the closest he's ever come to being this is by far the best performance I've ever seen him in anything.
Oh. Absolutely.
Yeah, because like I said, he does funny, he does serious. He's even like kind of solemn towards the end. The film also has a very abrupt ending, not quite as much as Marked for Death, but
or On Deadly Ground. We'll get to that in a minute. That ending is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, that's something.
But any final thoughts about Under Siege? Anything that you left out?
Yeah, let me see here. I was gonna say, this movie also actually has pretty good dialogue for the most part. Not as Seagal.
It does.
Seagal is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Which I would imagine that's part of what he did. But, my favorite line, actually, it's not even from Seagal or even from Tommy Lee Jones, although he has some pretty great ones. Because it's just the bit, because when Gary Busey, like I said, he betrays the crew, and then they lock them in the front of the ship. And then, when they find out Seagal's running around, they're like, okay, we're gonna draw him out, and we're gonna try to kill the crew, and they start flooding the thing, and then and Gary Busey's the one that comes up with the plan for that, and even Tommy Lee Jones, as evil as he is kind of taken aback, like, you would do that to your own crew, and then he's like, they never liked me anyway, and then Cole Meany's just like, I bet they fucking love you now, and then they have this big villain laugh. It's like that scene in Austin Powers. It's fucking
funny. I know. You know that you fucked up when even the villain is like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Like, you're nuts.
Yeah.
And for Tommy Lee Jones to say, for his character to say that Gary Busey was nuts.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's the other thing.
Amazing.
I would say Gary Busey's death in this one is actually kind of anticlimactic because he just gets blown up on the sub.
Yeah. I know. He's not even that random dude that gets impaled by the metal beam.
That's what I'm saying. And the same thing Cole Meany, he's the third in command, and he gets gunned down by Miss July.
Yeah.
And then Tommy Lee Jones gets kind of slaughtered because it's a Steven Seagal movie.
But this has been Under Siege, our second Steven Seagal special. God, that's just so horrible to say. But we have our third movie up next, so you want to stay tuned for On Deadly Ground, which this is definitely this is a masterpiece of, I can't even get through it. Anyways, as always, we like and subscribe, and we will see you for the third and final video for Steven Segal September.